Good morning. I wanted to tell you why I decided I had to make Hi Food I'm Home podcast. When I was 19, I was living in a university flat in my final year of university, and I was binge eating every day. I get up in the morning, I go to the library with a packed lunch, I'd eat it all by 10 o'clock, and then I go home while all of my housemates were out, and I would eat the most enormous lunch. Things like pita after pita after pita bread, things like a whole bag of 12 samosas from the local Indian shop. I'd eat so much, I couldn't study. It was like a get out of jail free card. It was like, oh, I don't even have to try anymore because I was trying so hard, putting so much pressure on myself to pass my final exams. And I'd just go into a food coma every afternoon, sleep until it was dark, and then wake up like, oh, I've missed the day. I've wasted it. Now I've got to work. And somebody would come through the front door. I had this front room, and I painted it like avocado green because I thought it would be really modern at the start of the year. And I wake up in this avocado green room, and it would feel so dark and like the walls were closing in, and I was so at the end of my rope. And I didn't care whether I lost weight anymore. I didn't care about anything. All I wanted was to be able to eat without guilt because I couldn't eat normally anymore, and to be a normal eater. And then somewhere in that mess of that room, I saw lying, there were stacks of papers, whatever, student mess. Oh my gosh, half finished projects, probably a bicycle needing some repair, all kinds of stuff in there. And under the bed or on the side, there was somebody had bought a copy of The Guardian Saturday. And Saturday has a weekend magazine in it. And in those days, the weekend magazine, oh, it probably still does, have like pages of adverts. And one of the adverts was for a product, and it was a slimming product, but it had the words "from within" in it. And that was radical for me because in those days, if you went into Waterstones, the self-help shelf was about that big. Like there wasn't many people talking about mind body. So to see something with food and from within in it, the idea of food and psychology together was like, you know, something fizzed, some fireworks went off in my brain. So I cut out the coupon. That's what you had to do in those days. I sent away a check in an envelope, and through the post came something a bit similar to this. You can't get this anymore. It was a great product for me at the time. Can you see that? That's Carol Vorderman. That shows my age. And inside it was a little book, which was like a little introduction to cognitive behavioural therapy, my first experience of cognitive behavioural therapy, which is now like, underpins the coaching that I do every day. And these 4 audio cassettes. This isn't the set. I had to buy this off eBay. This says Milton Keynes Council Library Service. So that shows you, it helped somebody somewhere, maybe. But it really helped me because I just decided this was it. And every time the book said lose weight, I was going to cross it out and like eat normally. And I just, over the course of about 2 years, I made this my daily bread. I listened to these audio cassettes on my Sony Walkman, and I would listen to them when I was on a bus, on a train, and they just piped in a voice that was absolutely absent from my brain. It was just telling me I was on the right track, that I was figuring it out, that change was already happening. It gave me some imagery to sort of think about this cognitive behavioural therapy, to think about the critical voice in my head. It didn't really talk about food much. It might have There might have been a couple of visualizations around junk food looking a bit like a pile of rubbish and things, but by and large, it was the tone of the voice, it was the positivity of it, it was the confidence of it, and that was so at odds with the self-doubt and where I was starting from, which was such a place of hating myself, being so fed up with myself, and having lost. I binged eaten then for about 7 years, and been bulimic at times too. And by that time, I completely lost any faith that this could change at all. It didn't change me on its own. The audio cassettes were just one element, but the power of having that different voice in my head was so valuable to me. And recently, in the last couple of years, I have found some of the greatest teachers and coaches through podcasts. And I listen to them when I'm on walks, when I'm folding washing, sometimes when I'm cooking if no one's around. And I feel like they are on my journey with me. I feel an immense intimacy with them. And their words, if their words do something for me, I will listen again and again to those particular bits of wisdom. I feel like there's such a need for us to share these voices around and for us to start listening into each other and being in conversation. There are so many of us, like me, who are on a journey with food and sharing that journey. And I really wanted to give you the chance of having someone in your ear who has walked in your shoes, walked more than a mile in your shoes, and also someone who has got that perspective, that coaching, and to just teach you some of these basic tools that began here of cognitive behavioural therapy and hypnotherapy, but in a language that you can understand, that's so simple, that's coaching orientated, that's really just going to change the conversation in your head. So please join me for Hi Food, I'm Home. If you haven't yet, you can sign up to join my podcast launch group. It's on lauraloyd.co/hi-food-I'm-home. The link is in the description of this vid. That's going to be a place where you'll be able to access the podcast in the future. If you join me for the launch, there'll be giveaways and a launch party. It's been such a pleasure putting together the first season for you, and I can't wait to see how this grows and expands. And I really hope you have a listen and that you find my voice just a tiny bit as helpful as I found this one. Thank you.